Episode 5 of Digital Body Language. Thank you for being here. I hope you're all learning. I hope you're bringing these words, these terms into your real life. And it's, I don't know, making you feel seen, making you feel a little less crazy, or making you think about how you use your phone. The other day, I was FaceTiming a friend. I was sitting on my couch and I propped up my computer. I put her FaceTime on full screen. I had nothing in my hands, no fidget, no phone, no nothing, no swiping. And I was sitting there just talking to her. And as I was looking on the screen, because, you know, her face was blown up, I was looking at her and I was like, wow, we're like really making eye contact. Like I felt like she was looking at my soul. And then I went, are you scrolling? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. This is such a weird false intimacy, which isn't this video, but also such divided presence. Like I feel like I am having this intimate moment of connection, but really you are scrolling and looking elsewhere. And I know you've all experienced this, whether it's on FaceTime or on a phone call, you know, when you can tell when somebody's just like half there. You're like, okay, I don't need to have this phone call if you're wanting to scroll. The body was there. The voice was there, but the attention wasn't. Divided presence, where we are physically in one place, but mentally in another. That's like kind of all of our lives right now, whether you're at work, a social event, a date, a party, whatever. This isn't just annoying either for the people who are actually trying to be present and for people who aren't actually trying to be present. By the way, you're dysregulated and not feeling great, I imagine, because you can't go 2 minutes without scrolling or looking at something. This is structural. We live inside an attention economy, and our focus is constantly being bid on. We've all seen the court hearings, the articles, all this stuff about all of these different social medias being sued because they literally operate like slot machines and casinos and all this different stuff of just like vying for attention. They want you. They're grabbing. Our focus is constantly being bid on. So even when we're with someone, part of us is waiting. We're waiting for a text, for a notification, for a like, for an email from our boss, for something more interesting. Presence becomes partial. It's half there. You're not fully where your feet are. And when presence becomes partial, you cannot build intimacy. Intimacy, and I want to clarify, I feel as though the term intimacy has kind of been co-opted. Not co-opted, but I think most people assume that that means like in a romantic relationship or something really serious. No. In the Heights, intimacy exists in every dynamic you have with your grandparents, with your friend, with your enemy, with your gym teacher, with your barista. I view intimacy as just like real solid awareness, connection, knowing, in vibe, in presence. And you cannot build intimacy off half attention. You just can't. That's why people, I'm jumping to the end, but that's why people are lonely and struggling even when they're in a relationship, even when they have an in-person job, even when they're with their family, because everybody's half scrolling. Nobody's giving you real focus. Nobody's asking thoughtful questions. Nobody's listening. I was literally telling somebody about this project once, and they're like, that's a really good idea. What? Girl, you're not listening. First of all, I don't feel heard. Also, what? Like, what's on Instagram? I know my Instagram has like power washing rugs. So is that more interesting than me having a real conversation with you? Ooh, how about that embarrassing moment, even when you're alone and you're watching a movie and I'll be scrolling and I'll have missed like something important and then I'll rewind, but I'll keep scrolling and then I realize it again. I've done that before like 3 times where I'm watching, I rewind, I scroll and I'm like, shit, rewind, I scroll, oh fuck. And then I have to be like, Aubrey, you're watching a movie. Watch the fucking movie. Like, our presence and our attention is just not here. It's divided and it's 12 billion places. It's not necessarily our fault. It was designed to be this way, but like it is ours to take back. I have spent many a days not even present where I am, thinking about a text that hasn't come instead of listening to the person right in front of me or reaching for the phone, you know, to check the notification. That's what I call like phantom pings, when you feel a vibration or think that something's coming when it's just not. You're just trained. What if we had like a tracker that like ting, 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 ting to every time you grabbed your phone and you were like, nothing there. Nothing's there. I mean, I'm sure on airplanes, you know, when you're in airplane mode and you're like, well, nobody's texted me, like I'm literally on airplane mode, but you're still checking it. We're constantly just scrolling in places that moments of connection used to happen. We're scrolling at the doctor's office, in elevators, in line for the grocery store, waiting for a friend at a table at a restaurant. And We've just eliminated every moment of empty space. And sure, maybe nothing would have happened, but probably micro moments of connection that fill your cup would have happened. You could have met a lover, you could have met a best friend or an enemy, a business partner, somebody like that's, I don't know, call me a romantic, but I feel like that's how life used to happen. You'd bump into somebody on the street, on the subway, walking to get your coffee, waiting in line. Because of our access to these devices, it makes us think that we should always be working or should always be on and available, when that's not the case. Like when you go somewhere with your family or you are with a loved one, if you're taking a break, you're allowed to take a break. You shouldn't have your phone on you. I feel like people used to genuinely, because they wouldn't have access, maybe they had a pager, they would genuinely be like, peace out for the night. No, peace out for the moment. But now because we have our phones, people are always texting us. We've just trained ourselves to fill every gap of moment with scrolling. So why does this matter? Presence is what makes memory, intimacy, and meaning. Some of the strongest memories in my life have been moments that my phone has just like not been there. When attention is fragmented, connection weakens, intimacy weakens, memory weakens, and depth weakens. And on a physiological level, it simply really dysregulates our nervous systems. All these studies that like when you're at a dinner and even if you have your phone down on the table, that's taking away your attention because you're anticipating what's happening on the phone. There's nothing that's more important than where you are. Like, of course, there are exceptions to that. I understand. Your brain is constantly bracing, like literally bracing for impact. Little quick nervous system learning moment. Parasympathetic nervous system and sympathetic nervous system. Your sympathetic nervous system is your fight or flight or freeze. It's what activates you. It's getting a text and going, and you can feel your heart racing. Like I have a visceral reaction to a certain ringtone from an old boss that if I hear, my body's like, my heart's in my stomach. And I'm like, oh my God, why is she texting me? Sympathetic nervous system. Your parasympathetic nervous system comes in to calm you down, to bring you back down to the ground. And when our attention is being grabbed, our sympathetic nervous system is high on charge. We're having no time to truly get into the parasympathetic to rest and digest because it doesn't happen in 2 seconds when you just put your phone down. When people are sitting, relaxing, but you're scrolling, you are not relaxing. You are not giving your body rest. It's not restorative like what you think it is. That's not real rest. It's not. You aren't feeling like this. I could get so technical about this because I love somatic body work and breath work and healing. That stuff is so important to me. It's changed my nervous system. You can feel your breath drop when your parasympathetic nervous system is actively going. And that never happens when you're scrolling, does it? It happens when you're reading a book, when you're in a meditation, when you're in flow state. For me, rock climbing, snowboarding, making jewelry, things that my presence has to be one place. I have found it incredibly important to have activities like that. Literally, all those things are sort of like on the edge, right? Rock climbing, I can't be thinking about anything else. I need to know where my hands and feet are going so I don't fall. Same with snowboarding. I gotta focus up, know where I'm going, and then you go into flow state. Same with making jewelry. I have fire. Like, Aubrey, I know you like to be a lot of places, but you have to be right here. My teacher used to always be like, keep your feet together. Don't look around. You have fire in your hand, Aubrey. You have fire in your hand. You know, you can't just get sidetracked. Those things help to bring your body, for me, and meditating as well as yoga. In yoga, even though there's movement happening, because my focus, if when you can bring it to just your breath and your body, it can help me drop in. Look, it doesn't work for everybody, and everybody has their own thing that works best for them. But I just think it's worth talking about when you are scrolling, you're on FaceTime, when you're on a phone call, you're not resting. Your body's fired up. The body keeps a score. The body keeps a score. The body keeps a score. That was bad. The body keeps a score. The body keeps a score, you know? It just does. It just does. And we're not allowing ourselves to properly rest and digest, to then show up and be present in moments we need. That's why we're fatigued. That's why we're tired. That's why our brains are just so fried. We're just fucking fried. You wake up, grab your phone and start scrolling and see what's happening around the world and in our country. How are you supposed to bring your attention back elsewhere? And then you do. You move on with your day, you're working, but there's little seeds planted back here, and your body remembers that jump of, oh my God, children are being shot in our country. oh my God, people are dying all over the world. Literally right now. This just got my sympathetic nervous system activated because I want to get this right and feel like I'm communicating properly and effectively, and it often takes a moment to just come back down. You're never fully settled into a moment, and we've trained ourselves to be available instead of present. The digitalism of the week that ties into this was a month ago. I went to see The Notebook. In Los Angeles with my mom at the Pantages. I'm in the mezzanine. I feel my body go. I tried to zoom in on a live theater production. My brain went to pinch the frame to try and control it as if I could pause, stop, start, zoom in. I was mortified. I felt so shamed. And like, obviously I couldn't tell my mom because you're watching older after, and she was like, oh, I actually tried to do that the other day on a holiday card. And it made me realize, like, our whole attention and being has been trained by screens. The phones teach us to crop, to zoom, to isolate, and to control the frame, and to control our attention when real life doesn't work like that. Our brains still try to interact, though, like it does. Yesterday, I took a walk, and I had nowhere to be, no time limit. I didn't bring headphones. I just brought my phone and my keys, and I went on a walk, and I realized that there is a beautiful children's store less than 200 feet away from my apartment that I've never seen. I have walked on that street so many times, and I have never seen it. I was like, this is wild of me. Kept walking, found a beautiful ballroom dance class studio that all these little kids were learning how to be ballroom partners with each other. I was obsessed. Witnessed some woman sitting in her car eating froyo with like she clearly just had got like her jaw done or her cheeks or something. It was such a sight. She was sitting there in her car like eating froyo. And I was just like, these are so many moments that I miss when you have even when you have your headphones in and you're just listening to music, you're being brought elsewhere. How many moments do you go in a day without any distraction? No music, no podcast, no TV, no computer, no work. Just being without the noise. Like even driving. Lately now I try and drive sometimes without music, without maps. Like, Aubrey, you know where you're going. Trust that. And you don't always need to be buzzed out listening to something else. Like you need moments where your attention isn't going boom, 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 to sit, to feel, to digest. But I was just having such a beautiful time witnessing life. I was so much more observant about what was around me because my attention wasn't going to a text, to changing the song, to listening to the song, to taking a picture. Like, it was just there. And if your body's here, but your mind isn't, you're not really here. And life really only happens where your attention is. It just does. And I know that's scary because a lot of us have a hard time retraining our attention, but it is possible. Like, have you seen those people on Instagram who've posted, they're like, day 1 of me regaining back my attention. And it's just a time-lapse video of them sitting on the couch with nothing for like an hour to try and like regain getting their attention back. If your body is here, but your brain is not, if you're scrolling, if you're texting, if you're waiting for that text or lack thereof, you're not really here. That makes it a lot harder to connect. When I was on FaceTime, I was just like, whoa, like this in my brain, if I had never asked, I felt like this was such a meaningful moment of connection, and it felt more passive for you. So, new segment. I mentioned it in a few videos ago. Ask Aubrey. Ask Aubrey or share with Aubrey. Share your digital body language of the week, of the month, of your experience. You can DM it to the Digital Body Language Instagram. I'd love to hear it. Ask me any questions. Share your thoughts. I want this to be a collaborative thing. And we'll get chatting.